So, what do you do when you're feeling down and maybe even lost in life? Perhaps you're just very tired about how things are not going the way you want, whether it's with your career, your business, your relationships, and even with your health. And you are beginning to feel disappointed and discouraged. You're asking God, why? Why? What's happening? Who did I offend? And maybe you don't even get an answer to any of those questions. And that's probably what even makes you feel even more down and lost. If that's where you are right now, I just want you to know that I know how that feels. I remember early September, starting towards the end of August, and for about the first 2 weeks of September, I found myself in that place where I was really very down and I was very discouraged. It almost seemed like nothing was working out the way that I wanted, in spite of my efforts in the different areas of my life, whether it was with like career, in the business, and mostly in those two areas. In spite of all the different efforts that I had put in, all the hustle and bustle, all the long nights, and I was becoming really very discouraged. I'm not going to say that I was depressed. I don't want to be depressed, but I was really very discouraged. I was really very sad, and I was asking a lot of questions, and I even felt more sad because it seemed like the answers to the questions weren't forthcoming. I took a trip to Europe with some of my friends. It was amazing and awesome. So I took a downtime. If you guys noticed, I didn't post any content for about the first 3 weeks of September, and that was because, not just because I traveled, but because I really was taking a downtime pretty much. I wanted to just take some time to reflect and to rejuvenate, because the last couple of months in the year, they had just been rough. I remember coming back from the trip, and the week after, I had to go to a men's retreat. It was really very enriching to my soul. I'm so glad that I made it there. But still, even after the retreat, I still didn't feel that I had the answers that I wanted. And you know what? The answers still may not be here 100%, but looking back, I know I'm very, very thankful for the way things happened. I was able to thankfully navigate all of those things that happened, and I didn't fall into like a depression or anything like that. So looking back at those during the moment, or that period, there were 3 things that I found really very helpful, which I did, and I'm hoping that these same 3 things would help anyone watching this video who perhaps find themselves in that state where they are feeling down and maybe even lost. The first thing is to not despair. Don't freak out. I know there was a moment when I was just in my head and I noticed how this was not happening well. This was not happening well. I felt like I was like done. I was like, I was about to freak out and almost enter panic mode, but I just caught myself. I was like, stop, don't do it. Because I always want to believe that God is working things out for our good and for our glory, for His glory rather, for our good and for His glory. And He is leading and guiding. I believe that God is leading, He's also guiding, and I believe He's also guiding and leading you as well. And I trust that His process is way better than mine, even though things may not be going the way that I would have loved. But I trust that God is working everything out for my good and for His glory, and He's going to turn the story into something very beautiful. So do not despair, no matter what, even when things are not going the way you want. Trust that God's process and His plan, they are way better than what you even had in mind. That's number 1. Number 2 is to not isolate yourself. I mentioned that even during that period, when I was feeling down and maybe even like to some degree lost, I didn't just stay to myself, because when we isolate ourselves in periods like that, the enemy is really going to capitalize on that. He's going to put us in a corner, he's going to pound on us, and he's going to really make life more miserable. Even in that period, like I mentioned, I went to a retreat. I wasn't alone, and I did a lot of soul searching and reflection that helped me, and I also plan to revisit them again. So doing that really helped me to see, number one, that I was not alone. A number of people were also going through similar struggles and challenges that maybe I got to learn about. And that's also one of the things that is really very important, to not isolate even when you feel down. When you feel down, try to still reach out to get help from other people, and you will learn that you are not alone. Everybody at some point would find themselves in a place where they have to figure life out when things are not going their way. It's kind of like part of the process of the journey in life, where we have to figure things out. There's highs and there's low. So whatever it is that you're going through right now, the downtime, it's not peculiar to yourself. I want you to know that, and just don't isolate. Number 3 was to take action. Take action. The fact that you may be in a down state or you may be feeling lost doesn't mean that you just don't want to do anything. It doesn't mean that you just still stay in your house, in your bed, and do nothing. You really want to take some actions. You take some actions that you know would lead you forward. What would you do even when you knew you had all the answers? So take action in the direction of the purpose that you believe God has for you. Don't just sit idle and do nothing. I know for me, even after the retreats, and there were obviously a number of action plans that I had taken away from there, I started taking action. I started putting together some new revived plan of action to continue to make progress towards the goals that I set for myself in those areas where I was feeling stuck, whether it was with the career, whether it was with the business, and even like spiritual too. So I started taking action, and the more we take action, the more we see that something can be done in the states where we are. And we're down doesn't mean that we are lost and we are stuck. But when we take action, even in spite of whatever is happening around us, we also use that as a way to place our trust in God. That God, I believe and I know that I'm not lost and stuck forever. I know that you're working things out. So we are making an alignment with God that we believe He is working things out even though we cannot see. So that's one of the things taking action, even in times like that, really does. With that said, I just hope that this encourages somebody watching the video, and I want you to always remember that God has a plan for your life, irrespective of how you're feeling right now. We walk by faith, not by feeling. We walk by faith, not by our sight. So those 3 actions, I hope you get the time to reflect on them and also apply them as well. And I believe that whatever it is that you're going through right now is not going to overcome you, it's not going to overwhelm you, and God is going to use it to work things out for your good and for His glory. And you're going to come out on the other side stronger, better, wiser, and walking towards the next level. I wish you the very best, and I want you to always remember that you're more than enough, you're worthy, you're deserving, you are loved. So let's go do something great and amazing with our lives. God bless and peace.